A lot of people have told me that they really, really love that song. And I honestly probably think it's just like the simplicity of it too. Like sometimes people just want to sit down and listen to something that's just like be vulnerable.
I'm numb for you. I'm numb for you.
I wrote that with Sam. He's somebody that I've just like clicked with super well with writing. He's somebody that like anytime I do have like a session, I love having him there because he's just like, it's so nice to be able to like be like, I'm trying to think of this like melody and this is what I got, but like the melody I want is something like this, and he kind of comes in and just literally be like, oh, you mean like, and then like hums it out, and I'm like, yeah, like exactly like that. Numb for You is cool too because it's like so simplistic, lyrically especially because it's so repetitive, and that's something I kind of learned from one of my favorite bands, Bring Me the Horizon. I feel like when you read their lyrics, it's almost just like three parts, and they just repeat or they like change the way things are said. And I really like the fact that with that song, it's just kind of like it's really simplistic, but I feel like the emotion of the song like it builds up through it, and then like at the ending, it's like this big, massive like ending to it. I know I'll always have like more songs in the future that I love and that I really care about, but something about that song, like I listen to that song and I don't like just randomly put on like my songs sometimes. Like if I'm with my friends or like I want to show off like an old song or something, I'll do that. But like Numb for You is a song like there's sometimes where I'm feeling a little low and I'll like listen to it.
Watch the pain go down, watch the drink go down. How will I make it right? Need to hold you tight.
The Watching the Pain Go Down is kind of like a reference to I guess like pills, kind of like, you know, taking whatever your fix is and like drink it down. Obviously alcohol, like definitely have had like a problem in the past of like pushing myself too far when because like I'll feel so low and I kind of just like drown out the pain kind of a thing, especially emotionally. I've done a lot of stuff in my past that like, you know, like I was super bummed about who I used to be as like a younger guy and everything like that. With friendships, you know, best friends and everything, relationships and everything. And it's just kind of like me almost like sitting around just kind of like, you know, getting myself messed up and then being like, how can I make it right? Like, I just wish I could like, you know, do something like hug, you know, like I'm somebody that like, sometimes I feel like just like, I don't know, like holding somebody is like my way of like kind of telling somebody like I suck at talking, but like the physicality of it is just like this is my way of like trying to connect with you kind of a thing.
I can feel my bones, feeling so alone. I can feel my skin crawling out of my skin.
I mean like the can't feel my bones and can't feel my skin thing is just kind of like, you know, like the being numb kind of thing again. But like crawling out of my skin, that's just like, you know, like not wanting to be like who I am, you know, like it's like almost like I wish I could just like rip this off and be somebody different. Like I wish I could be this like ideal person that doesn't fuck up, that doesn't make mistakes, you know, that's like I guess normal. Like there's definitely times where like I'll try kind of like think to myself like why can't I just be like a normal working person, like mental wise, you know, especially like I fixate on certain things so often. Like if something like if I get into it with somebody at work or something, I will stick with that in my head for like an entire day. And like the getting out of my skin is just like, I just wish I could just like rip it out and forget about all this crap.
Days like these, I need to walk away, walk away.
Every day can be like harder and harder. I feel like I'm sounding like super emotional and damaged, but it's just like, you know, like you just sit around and it's just like another day, like, you know, like it's 10 in the morning. Guess I'll drink a beer. You know, it's just days like these. Walking away, like sometimes like the way I handle situations too is like not being able to talk to people. I just shut down. I just completely shut down. And like I've gotten, you know, like when people are like arguing with me or trying to talk to me about stuff, they say like, you can't just shut down like that. But it's just like, it's almost like a defense mechanism kind of a thing. Just like walking away, ignoring a problem, just, it's out of sight, out of mind, like kind of a thing. So.
I'm numb for you.
It's kind of like a number of things, to be honest. Numb for You can be just like, it's kind of like when you get that like first high almost and you're finally numb. Finally, it's like the first time like you can relax. I feel like that chorus is very like, almost like taking like a breath, you know, and like kind of like trying to center yourself. People too, you know, like it's just being numb for people, for situations, for anything. It's cool because it's such a vulnerable part of me, and like people like really jamming it and everything. It makes me feel really good that it turned out the way it did. I feel like I can't talk about my emotions and like my life stuff like in person, but like with my music, it's my chance to be vulnerable. And I feel like something like with Numb and something I'm doing with like new songs that I've been writing and everything is just like showing that being vulnerable is okay. Like vulnerability isn't like, it shouldn't be like a weakness. It's like kind of like a blessing to be able to feel like I can feel that low, but if I can feel that low, then that means I have to be able to feel like the opposite of that, like, you know. So I think when I like go back and listen to it now, instead of like the feeling I had when like we were writing it and like recording it, it's like a proud kind of a thing now. So instead, like before, it was kind of like a these are my burdens, this is my damage, you know. Now it's like oh, I took something that like was a burden or like, you know, my pain, and like made it into something that like I'm super proud of.